Jaime, you're promoting agriculture through the high schools.
Yes, so we have a roadshow called Soil Makes Sense, which came about because about 5 years ago I was down in Invercargill and I noticed that agriculture wasn't as popular as it used to be. I've been at Lincoln for about 11 years, and when I first started, agriculture was huge, and then, like I said, it went down a bit. So I thought, what can we do to make this better? How do we get kids engaged? How do we get parents engaged? How do we get schools engaged with the sector, knowing that there was huge demand? So I went to the council, and I also talked to Dairy NZ, and I knew that Dairy NZ had put a program on earlier where they used to go into schools and talk to really bright year 13 chemistry students and biology students and English students and that type of thing, and they used to bring in graduates and stuff, and I thought, I'm sure we can do this better. So we sat down and we invited the heads of department or the subject teachers in and the principals in and said, what can we do to engage with you and your students? And we came up with a plan. And we asked schools to give us their whole year 13 group, and we asked them for the whole. And our aim was to make it as easy as possible for the schools, so we did that. And then we brought in 8 to 10 young, engaging people who were working throughout the whole value chain of the primary industries. So we had people like rural bankers, we had rural valuers, we had soil scientists, we had international marketers, we had all sorts of people, environmental people. We got them to come in. And originally we got them to come in with a prop. And so you've got these year 12s sitting there going, what are we doing? What is this? They came in with the prop, and we got one of our professors of agriculture to come in and just set the scene and say, this sector's ginormously, we need resources in this sector, what are we going to do? These people stood up with their prop and they had to introduce themselves in 20 seconds. And so the kids were like, okay. And then what we did was get them to position themselves around the hole, and they did a round robin, and they had 8 minutes with each of the people, and the actual presenters had to say what they were doing, how they got there, and where they wanted to go, and talk to the students. And then we brought them back up on stage and we did a question and answer panel with them. This is where it got interesting, because we asked them what they earned per hour instead of salaries. So we had people standing up saying they were earning $65 an hour. And you can imagine the students in there going, I earn $13.50, holy moly, how do you get into that job? We asked them what they liked about their jobs, what they hated about their jobs, and the whole aim was to keep it short and snappy enough for kids to go, I didn't even know that job existed. The key thing for us was that it was not about Lincoln University, it was about the sector, so we didn't do any Lincoln promo whatsoever. And like I said, we planted these seeds. The students took the information away and they took no promo gear, they just took these thoughts away. The thing about it was that we were getting phone calls from parents the next day saying, what's happened? My son was going to be a pilot, now he's going to go into agricultural science. What have you done? What have you done? And we're thinking, oh God, have we done the right thing here? But it worked out. So it was quite successful in that regard.
What sort of follow-up is there?
So what we usually do, in the past, we've just basically set the scene and walked away. We were seeing results such as schools that Lincoln traditionally had only got 1 or 2 students from were giving us 16 students, and we're just like, that cohort that came through and were involved in the roadshow were giving us 16. What we're doing now is handing out little sheets where we can get people's contact details, and we engage with them a couple of days afterwards just to say, what did you think of this? Do you need any further information? Etc. The key thing to note is that we're advertising all avenues of agricultural education. So it's not just Lincoln, it's also Massey. Since our first pilot, we've actually brought Massey on board, and we're now bringing Pika on board as well. So there's now terms of reference, there's a group, and this year alone we've been to 23 schools and we've seen 1,900 students. So it's getting exciting, it's getting busy. And what the gorgeous thing is that we're seeing industry are ringing us up asking to be involved, because there's no other way they can have contact to every year 12 student at a school and sell what they're doing. So it works.
Are you just doing rural schools, or are you doing urban and rural?
We're actually focusing more on urban, because that's where we need to really penetrate the market. Rural schools have generally an understanding, but at this stage we're just going out and seeing who wants us. And now that it's getting busy, I think we can be a little bit more picky and really push. I'd love to push the urban schools in Auckland a lot more. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see.
So it's still very much a work in progress.
Very much. I think we're just on the verge of it being quite ginormous. So we're going to have to look at how we run things in the future and make sure that we're doing what we can to really, really increase interest in the sector. So there's a bit of planning that has to happen, because at the start of it you're kind of winging it and going, yeah, this is great, this is awesome, the results are fantastic, but now I just really want to cement it and make sure that we're doing everything we can. So.
Are you going to be looking at placing people within the industry?
Probably not at this stage. I think the key thing for me is generating that interest. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this forever, and we go into schools, and most students know about lawyers, accountants, teachers, doctors, nurses, dentists, those types of roles. And what we have to do is take them away from that and say, you know, there's this whole ginormous sector. You may want to be an accountant. Have you thought about being a rural accountant, and taking that skill set and putting it into an industry where there is demand? So I'd rather start at that point. In regards to placing, I think we could probably bring industry into that and maybe work with them closer, but that's not something we're really looking at this stage.
So you're just opening doors?
Yeah, I'm a door opener. What can I say?